Many thanks for staying with us. Let's take you back to the story where we told you earlier that Nigeria's power grid has collapsed again, with the country currently generating 0.80 megawatts of electricity. The electricity contribution further declined to 1020.08 around 3 p.m. before dramatically falling to 0.80 by 4 p.m. Now, this is the fourth grid collapse being recorded in 2024. To discuss this, I am joined by the Managing Director, Idfon Power Engineering Consultants Limited. Thank you for joining me, Engineer Idowu. Now, let's get straight to it. I mean, this is another grid collapse. I mean, at some point, this seems to be like a regular. I mean, from an engineering perspective, what could be responsible for this constant collapse?
Thank you very much. A grid collapse will happen when there is an imbalance between generation, which is the supply side of electricity, and the demand. And what it affects is the frequency of the system. In Nigeria, the frequency is 50 Hz. And once there is an imbalance in generation and demand, there will be a grid collapse. So we can attribute the causes of such a grid collapse to many reasons. But ultimately, this is a national disaster. It is a national disgrace. We are not supposed to be having grid collapse in Nigeria. You know, since electricity was discovered over 125 years ago. The Nigerian power system is still in like the 1920 UK or US system. And it is actually a disservice to the nation that by now we still have grid collapse.
Let's talk about the recent reforms within the power sector. I mean, let's take our mind, way back to the time it was privatized. And right now we have quite a number of players within this sector at different levels. We know that the recent Minister of Power did introduce even a tariff system such that you have band A, band B, and the likes. All of it in a bid to address some of the recurring problems within the sector. One of it includes infrastructure and liquidity being funding. Are we getting it right in any way, or is it just down the hill?
That's a very good question. By signing the Electricity Act 2023 as amended, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has actually put Nigeria through the renewed hope agenda on the right path. Because it is only through the decentralization of the power system that we can now more easily address this frequent grid collapse and also improve the power system. However, any policy is as good as the implementation. Once implementation is not right, then you will never get anything. So Nigeria has a lot of policies for various things for implementation. And I said to you, the implementation of power system policies has to be based on merit. If you don't have meritocracy in a system, if you don't have pragmatism and honesty, you will never get a power system right. So what do we have to do? There are simple things that can be done to prevent grid collapse. I have written about them. I have discussed them in many public fora, but listening to this technical submission is a problem in Nigeria. Professionalism is not taken serious in the whole country. That's why the power system is always down. In the power system where you don't want grid collapses, there are small things you can do to avoid grid collapses. One of them is adequate protection. The protection system in the Nigerian power network is nothing to write home about. And this is a panacea for grid collapses. I'm afraid grid collapses will continue with the present setup we have, where we do not have protection systems that are adequate. You also have vandalism. When you vandalize equipment, or you have equipment that are faulty, then you will have grid collapse. The system they are using now to monitor the grid itself is manual, if you may say, because we don't have a centralized data management system in Nigeria. Look, a country without data, data is life. Power system needs data. Nigeria needs data in every facet of its activity, even social investments. But come to power system, you need data. But when I pushed for this data 2 or 3 years ago, the powers that be, they just struck it out. Because without centralized data management system and a supervisory control and data acquisition system that is embedded in this CDMS, Central Data Management System, you are going nowhere with a power system. To have a power system that is functional without grid collapse, you have to operate it like they are operating it in the UK, in the US, in China, and other places in Europe where you have uninterrupted power supply. This means you will spend money in investing in your grid. You will strengthen your grid. You will meter all consumers, okay? And you have adequate protection. Now, the system has been decentralized. So we should be asking the governors of each state, where is your commissioner for energy? Where is your commissioner for power? What are you doing about investing in the power system in your state and helping the disposed there to comply with the rules and also make power available to the people? I think the main thing I would say is that meritocracy, pragmatism, and honesty, these are 3 key important factors for having a power system that is functional.
I mean, you talked about the powers that be. Just before I let you go, I mean, you are not the first person making reference to some sort of cabal within the power sector. Even the minister itself, that's the Minister of Power, has hinted on that. I mean, looking at all of the politics and politicking within the sector, how do you best think that we can navigate to get it right? 30 seconds.
We call a power system architect. The power system architect will report directly only to the minister, to the president. The power system architect will coordinate the multifaceted and multi-dimensional departments or entities that are required in the power sector, including the accountants, the lawyers, the economists, the generators. Everybody that is participating, all stakeholders should be coordinated. Lack of coordination, people often wrong in Nigeria. And I'm afraid the only way is to have a power system architect, a sort of coordinating body that will report directly to Mr. President and give the guidance towards a successful. And this can be done in 6 months. The president wants within 6 months to get up to 6,000 megawatts. This can be done. Adequate protection system, and also putting in place the right power system task force to implement this concept.
All right. Thank you so much for your time on the news. Engineer Idowu Oyebanjo is actually the Managing Director at Idfon Power Engineering Consultants Limited. Once again, thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.